Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to closing day, day 39, 2024. Another very pleasant Sunday morning / Monday morning. Was that the Beatles or something? But it's beautiful out. If you don't have Labor Day plans, come on up.
Yeah, that was a nice day.
Congratulations to the alma mater, USC. A tremendous victory last night. Those cannot see it, but I'm wearing my USC sneakers. Mr. Seth can verify them.
They're snappy.
But their foray into the Big Ten, Seth, very successful and a very exciting game. We were out to dinner last night with our friends. Another great night and great human being, a friend of yours, Frank Miramati, had dinner with his friends and family right next to us. Pretty sure it's safe to say we closed the joint. It was a great night.
That was a good night.
Yes, it was a great night. Great afternoon. Weather is holding out. It's beautiful this morning. I don't need the fan on. It's bright. It's sunny. Hopefully we run out the final 12 races of the day. A year that at the end of the day, Irad was having dinner also.
Oh, nice.
And I saw the jock who rode Danzig in his debut. My wife's like, you're the only guy in this place that knows, first off, who he is and that he rode Danzig in his debut. But Flavien Prat, he set a record, so that'll be kind of around. Irad's going to win the meet, but Dylan Davis has had I wouldn't say generational, about once every 10 years, the type of meet he's had. He's kept it up, and I'm making a charge like Turco Man, Seth, but I am not. Under normal circumstances, even though we had over $60 of winners yesterday, I don't think I can get there. You had 5 winners yesterday in the TU, and you didn't win. You kissed your sister.
Whoa.
Oh, they miscounted?
I'm 5-4.
Oh, this is atrocious then. I cannot trust those people over there.
Oh,
boy.
I'm going to have to go back and look. But I double and triple checked, I thought.
I believe you because I have my doubts about them.
What did they have as a score?
5-5.
Okay, so they got mine right. I'm going to have to double check there. But I, as I say, I'm pretty sure I double and triple checked. Because
here's my thing, because I believe Seth, because I had to wrangle him in a couple times last year, which seems inexplicable. It's simple arithmetic. But here's the thing. Let's suppose you wake up and you get the paper this morning and the paper's right. Wink, wink. It's 13-12-13. If it finishes 13-13-13, oh, wow. That's it. That's it. Way too many ties. I've said it before, the NHL, the 1970s. But so now we have sounds like an official replay review.
Commercial break, I will be.
So you think it's 5-4, you won. And if that's the case, well, this is bad. Even if I'm not on the desk next summer, I should be in charge of that, the totalizer. That is not a good job. The newspaper is supposed to be our last bastion of hope.
Like I say, I could be wrong, but I kind of triple checked to make sure.
No, I'm sure. I trust me. If we're laying a morning line odds now, Seth is 3-5 and the 2U is 8-5 to be right.
I'm gonna have to.
So there we have it. We have a controversy brewing already. I thought it was gonna be a nice, calm morning. Mike Callahan get us home. It'll be a tie. We'll kiss our sister. Our unbeaten streak will remain, but it might be a jump ball.
Yeah, I think it's a jump ball.
Mike Callahan might be in for the win.
Yeah, that's.
And I said it, and just the reason I make Seth the favorite is, I'll say it as politely as I can, and I know I'm edgy sometimes, although I don't think I'm edgy. They had trouble keeping score early in the meet, so they have cast doubts. It's always like not that people care, but I'm always early for most things in life, work especially essential. One time that I can think of, I was late to work, and my manager didn't say anything. And one of my colleagues said something, manager, how come you didn't say something to Anthony about being late? You're like, well, he's been early 1,000 days in a row. I'm sure when we get unbusy and I ask him what happened, he's going to have a very adult-like, reasonable reason for being late. My point is, you set a standard. Sometimes it's a good standard. Sometimes it's a less than good standard. And as we said yesterday, Capital put out a tweet that we had made a good comeback after being down 8-1. And both you and I had seen the tweet, and both you and I were a little suspect of being down 8-1. So we're going to find out. We might have to call what? There's not a big 6 accounting firms left. I think there's only 4. We'll have to call PricewaterhouseCoopers in on this to get the number. So I guess that part of the show is out. I can't go too far with that.
All right, I'm redoing here, and I'm only coming up with 4. But there was one.
For Anthony?
There was one I had. Yeah, there's one I have to check, and I'm pretty sure I checked.
Oh,
yesterday.
we're definitely throwing the red flag now. As I said, I made Seth 3-5 on the line, and the TU 8-5 on the line. And trust me, I am not going back through all of them. Although I have, I won't say doubts. I have my wonderment of the accuracy.
There was one where I just have to make sure a horse stayed in the race, but I'm pretty sure I did that yesterday. And
no, that's why you're 3-5 on the board.
I'll look during the commercial. But yeah, congratulations to you on Spurs Mischief at $38. I don't know how you got the price though, because I think both of the times you guys had it, I have it right here. Which race was that? The third. Anthony had it. But I saw at least 1 or 2 other public handicappers at it. So the $38 was nice. And then hats off to Andy Serling, had Rough Draft on top. Yeah. I think I read Mike Beer had it on top as well at $64. So nice.
And I thought sometimes, I mean, Highland Falls winnings was good for the good guys at $16. But what I really like about, and I've said this before, and I'm only half kidding when I say this, I think when you have the winner and you beat an odds-on horse, there should be like a bonus plan. But what I really like was he did all the dirty work, and he got the just rewards. So I would say 80% of the time it doesn't work out that way. You do the dirty work and somebody else gets the laurels. But Fabian Highland Falls took it right to Arthur's Ride. Never gave him a breather. And I was suspicious of Arthur's Ride being up, put 3 in a row.
3 in a row is tough.
And I didn't see what the buyer came back. I mean,
I don't think I saw either.
I mean, I was thinking it was a big regression for Arthur's Ride.
It had to be.
You know, off of the Whitney. I mean, forget off of the allowance race during the Belmont meet. But Highland Falls, when Fabian put him right into it, battled him into submission. And Arthur's Ride looked terrible last 8th mile. Basically, you know, what, he finished 4th?
I think so. Yeah.
No, he finished 5th. He was done, and Highland Falls, you know, won by daylight and paid $16. At that point, I didn't need Critical Threat at 960. The rest were good. If I repeat yesterday, which I do not, just to give you some on the Anthony Mormino 2.0, it's been in the neighborhood of 2,500 races, Seth. I am $60 short. I have a $1.98 rounding figures, $1.99 ROI in the 2.0 version of this in 27 months. We do this before scratches. I could not do any better, even though I've had an atrocious 2 weeks here. But this week has been one of the best public handicapping weeks, and I have one more day. I have one day, and keep plugging. Well, what I did was, and I've said this to you before to our audience, I played it on the square. I didn't, I understand if I don't make it on the first loser, but I'm not taking 11 30-1 shots. I'm not playing it that way. I'm playing it. Remember, I said a couple of years ago, I'm not going to play the favorites out to beat the meat. I'm going to play it on the square because that's what the people that take the time out to watch my work or endure it. I don't know which they have to do. We give it to you as we see it, and we'll see if we can get home. I have doubts because you don't usually have back-to-back $65 days as a public handicapper, and this has been a very good week.
And that's what you want. It's like getting the birdie on the 18th hole.
Brings you back.
Yeah. Ran into Kevin Cox yesterday, Brooklyn Cowboy, who sits in with us, does the plays of the day, and he's had a very good meet as well. He does have a flat bet profit for the meet with his selections, profited on the play of the day, and when he's sat in here with me as well. So nice meet by him. Steve Bick, his plays of the day. Bick's the last. He's today, right? Yeah. So he's the last one today. So he gets one more shot. But he was sitting in here yesterday, and we were kind of totaling up, and he has 2,800, I think, over 2,800 of winnings in the play of the day. So it's added on to what Kevin Cox said. The play of the day, folks, are going to wind up with a nice little chunk of money. The team. So
kudos.
And one more shot today from Mr. Bick as well. So a lot of fun there. Just giving you updates with the jockeys and trainers. Both titles are in the bag now. Irad Ortiz 9 ahead of Flavian Prat, and Chad Brown is 18 ahead of Todd Pletcher and Mike Maker. So both battles are.
So Linda Rice won't make any closing day.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
What was it? Was Pioneering Spearing in the Baruch? Was that the tie-up last year?
Yeah, I think it was. It was right. The last couple of races of the meet made the difference.
Made the tie.
Yeah. So, but
apparently Chad Brown has enough ties in his wardrobe. He doesn't need another one.
Not this year, which I think is reflective of far more turf this year than last year. I mean, that was an aberration with the number of races that were off the turf, which kind of changed his scenario. And speaking of Chad and Flavian and whatnot, top of the hour racing across America. John Signor is going to come on, the president of Capital TV, and just kind of recap and thank the fans and whatnot a little bit later on. And I'm going to do a recap of the meet. And so part of that was I went into the winner's circle yesterday after the Baruch and the Jockey Club. So you will hear from Flavian Prat and reflecting a little bit on his record-breaking stakes wins, all-time now leader in a season with stakes wins and graded stakes wins in Saratoga, and he reflects a little bit on that. Brad will talk about his winner in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and Chad Brown, after winning the Baruch, reflected on his season a little bit. So that's all coming up as well, and then we'll look at some highlights from the meet and more. Top of the upper on Racing Across America.
Did Flavian just go out of town the one time where he rode? He rode last week in Sweet Azteca in the Rancho Bernardo at 1-9.
Kentucky Downs this weekend? I thought one of the days I had him in the other day, and I pulled up the entries, and I thought he was going down to
town
Kentucky.
Then, so he
either Saturday,
2 days maybe he missed the meet, maybe. And obviously both weekend days where he would have had chances probably, but
definitely.
I mean, just a tremendous meet, and for those who follow the West Coast, it wasn't a surprise. I mean, we've talked about it all the time. Usually it's the other way. These East Coast jocks go west and they get handed their head because they don't have, they don't have a way into a barn that's live. And this guy was so good. He came east and, he had fine years to begin, which is hard to do. And now he's just showing everybody who he was. I told you, I think the Bing Crosby had won like 4 years in a row. The reason I bring it up is, that's a sprint race. He's an international jockey. It's not, but he.
I asked him the other day. This was good. I said, "What kind of races? Do you have a race that you prefer?"
Well, yeah,
he said, "I like the dirt races," which is
very surprising. But that's good. It kind of gives you some insight where some other international jockeys, whether they didn't like him as much or never learned it, we're still in this day and age of dirt racing. So he picked it up. And, he's obviously got a tremendous skill set on the turf. So that helps him out.
Got to see the regulars on the last day, right?
It is. Well, I have to say, not that when they showed the shot that they show of the starting gate for the Jockey Club, we could have got a lot of 2020 cutouts in the stands. It was, what time did that race go off? Where's the form? 6:20. It was, it was a little sparse. Plenty of elbow room in the sections that I saw. So, maybe I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, listen, it's a long 39 days, and I cannot wait till we get PricewaterhouseCoopers on this, because that's not good. But I was laughing. I go, we lose the day. If it ends up 13-13-13, it'd be like, oh. But if it's 13-12-13 for us, then the unbeaten streak continues. Hopefully my boss is taking a shower now and doesn't realize the babble has gone beyond 9:15 on closing day with a 12 race card. But if you're accounting, well, why don't I let you get to it by shutting up, and we'll find out if it's 13-12-13, the good guys. Who knows? Maybe I should trust Twitter more than I trust newspapers. I don't know anymore. All right, time for the DePaula play of the day. Mr. Pick getting another swing.
The race for savings is going on now at DePaula Chevrolet. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey everybody, Steve Bick back with you for Labor Day Monday closing day at the spa for the DePaula play of the day, and hoping to close it out with a winner. Going to have a nice priced horse in the 11th race, the 4 Golden Rocket. This horse is second off the layoff for Charlie Baker, who may have woken up on Sunday, and Golden Rocket got a tightener with a sprint, now is going to stretch back out, has got plenty of races that really fit in this spot. New York breds long on the turf. We haven't had as many of them this meet as we like. So let's close it out and let's put some more money in your pocket. 12-1 Golden Rocket, the last DePaula play of the day for the 2024 Saratoga season. Hope you've had a great meet, everybody. Can't wait to do it all again next year. Best of luck today.
The race for savings is going on now at DePaula Chevrolet. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
All right, we hired PricewaterhouseCoopers hired out a subcontractor for this, and trust me, I trust the subcontractor. I think the TU is wrong this morning. I think Seth won 5-4, and which doesn't matter. I mean, today he's still in the hopper, so Mike Callahan start to feel the pressure. I think the true score, and I'm not going any further back than yesterday, is 13-13-12. I think it's tied up today. I do not think it's 13-12 with 13 ties for the TU. I believe we have made a comeback, although I don't think the comeback was from being down 8-1, but that's for not another day because I won't be looking it up. But I think it's tied, which is a good job on our team because we were slow getting out of the gate and we were holding a 3-year win streak. So I said this last year when there was some moments of arithmetic that I wouldn't believe the TU this morning.
Yeah,
I believe their PricewaterhouseCoopers
last night
subcontractor.
I was feeling pretty good. I
could tell by the look on your face when I said 5-5. You were like,
no, I was
aghast.
because I was going to bring up. We had tied it up, and it was going to be a jump ball, as you say, on closing day, which I think is a lot of fun. And I did what I could over the weekend. If I had won both days, I'm Saturday and Sunday. If I'd won both days, we'd be up. But I kept us alive on Saturday and got the score, as I believed well into last night until you said it. And I'm surprised. But yeah.
Well, I pulled the bonehead play on Thursday when I left the Chad Brown. I just swung and missed with the Chad Brown. So I ended up getting the tie instead of the win, which I'm now wondering, should I go back? But I won't be. I'm just not going to do that. So we'll get rolling here. Trust me, my producer, director, boss are all probably thinking, the show ends at 10 o'clock, don't you? I said, yes, I know the show ends. Let's kick it off as we began it. Once around.
Frankly, with no guests, we can go over.
Yeah, we really. I'm
just doing highlights.
Didn't want to play that card because they'd be like, just what he needs, more ammo to be loosey goosey. We started the meet once around. We'll close the meet once. Close the final. We'll start the closing day once around. Maiden special weights, 9 furlongs on the dirt.
Opening for me, the opener on the closing day card, 4, 3, 6, and 5. Military Road on top, 1 to 2 on the morning line. You get these races every once in a while where the buyer numbers just kind of jump off the page, and this is one of those. I talk a lot of times has a slight buyer's edge, and you will then look and say, yeah, isn't this one similar and this one similar? And there is one that maybe has a little bit of an edge, but otherwise they're all kind of similar. This one just jumps out in this field. So I wound up on Military Road. Elko County in the second spot. Nice little closing second place finish last time at 1.25 miles, but has 1 mile and an eighth race that was pretty good. 3 starts back. So I think this one very playable. And Stop the Presses going out for our friends at West Point. Shug Trainee goes turf to dirt. Could be a little bit interesting with the surface move in here. 4, 3, 6, and 5.
I don't know what the technical terminology is, but there used to be a term as a function of the buyer speed figures when your last 3 were better than anybody. Your worst of your last 3 was better than anybody had run. And unlike yesterday's, I think Military Road gets an easy trip unless somebody wants to outrun the past performances and be suicidal. But it's 4-5-3 for me. I think Military Road, I want to say this might be the third one that I can think of, Seth, where I've looked at the race and been like, because apparently I'm the antithesis of a chalk player, but even I'm like, I don't know. I think Carl's back for the first time this week, but where I was just like, I'm not swimming up against this hill, and that's it for me. I think it's it's a 1-number race. And I'll tell you on the other side, look, just as a quick thing, I don't see one of those 1 punches. Which, by the way, I'm 0 for 5 the last 2 seasons where there's a big favorite. I think the only way you can bet those races is you make a 1-punch exacta. And I'm first off, I've lost all of them the last 2 years. I was 0 for 2 with Nest last summer. I thought I could get a 1-punch. You're looking for like a $14, $15 exacta. And I'm 0 for 5, but I don't even see a 1-punch in this race.
Second race this afternoon. These are 2-year-old New York breds. A lot of 2-year-old races over the last weekend. These are 2-year-old New York bred fillies going 5.5 on the grass.
Well, some of them will have about 2 weeks off after this. 7-6-3, Wild Mischief. Kind of like the same angle I had yesterday with the Wesley Ward runner. That, as you said, I mean, I said this about Country House when he won the Derby. I mean, $38.20 wasn't the right price. $16 was about the right price.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw you had it. And
Wesley Ward, it was a pretty.
Yeah.
I find this horse, and it's because I have a bias, and one of my strongest biases run well, especially in your debut, and then just get exhausted. And, I'm looking at the screen going, run worse. But I think these horses turn it around, and I like Wild Mischief. Forever to Go, I see you have in the mix also. Our good friend Mark Henning posted a nice picture yesterday closing up the meet. And for third, Lady Delilah for Jimmy Farrow. This was a reach for me. I guess trying to get Lane Luzzy 3 days of winners. So 7-6-3 for me.
I'd love to know where that picture was with Mark Hennig.
So did I, because it looked like Napa, and I'm like, well, I don't think Mark raced out to Napa, but
farm out. Yeah,
I would say it's close.
Yeah, because he said it's Saratoga kick send off or whatever. 2, 6, 11, and 4. I'm going to put Marvelous Madison on top, morning line favorite, but maybe deservedly so. Caravaggio, 27 first-time starters this year. 7 wins, 3 seconds, and 4 thirds. Solid numbers there. Chad Brown, there's a sibling from the dam on the bottom side. Shardy won the debut. Shady won in the second start. Another sibling, Sweetness, won the career debut. Just win early, top and bottom with the trainer. So I'll land there. Forever to Go, 9.4 workout before the Ocala sale in March. There was a sibling that won in the second and third starts. So I thought there was a little bit there as far as breeding and whatnot. If the Mark Tassi runner gets in, man, he's had a good season with the 2-year-olds. And when I had him in the other day, he said, watch out when they have one under the belt. This one does. There was a sibling to Disco Star called April Gaze that won the debut. Veterans Beach won the debut. Other win early siblings also. If Disco Star gets a little help with the scratch and gets in, watch out for that one. But for me, 2, 6, 11, and 4.
On to the third race, Phillies and Mares in for 25, 3L, going 6.
4, 7, 1, and 5. Roman Goddess on top. Not with a lot of confidence, but on the class move from starter allowance into this conditional claimer. I think the class move is going to be beneficial. Irod Ortiz sticks on board off a decent third against that probably tougher group last time. Spiritual Lady in the second spot. Dave Donk trainee. Dave's had a nice meet. This one off a claim, and again, with efforts that are pretty good, comparatively speaking. And so I think this one's in the mix, and Concerti in the third spot for Mike Maker, stepping out of State Bred Company into this open claimer. I think class-wise, this horse is going to match up nicely, and it's a Flying P runner. And, normally you don't look a lot at owners, but I've said it before, here at Saratoga, there are battles and folks want to win. And so the movements claiming wise and whatnot, I think you do have to maybe look at owners a little more up here at Saratoga. But Jay Provenzano and Flying P have been fabulous up here. And so Concerti very live. 4, 7, 1, and 5.
And I think on the owner's title, it's not something. I think you make a great point. And it's in the claiming game. It's where they're trying to. You're not gonna fudge around with allowance races and stakes races. It's you make certain moves in the claiming game that maybe you would or wouldn't. And one thing I'll say is, the owners have also indicated winning the owner's title is important. Yeah. Like if they have shown it that it's not just fabricated by the media I know
that time of year.
Seth is. We might have to go to commercial break. My partner might have a tearful moment.
Start crying.
So we should let the audience know, once again, the best bad television in the world when we talk to people offset. But I think it's fair to say, for at least the hour I share with you, the first time we heard the geese.
Yeah,
they are not going up the Northway, folks. They are not trying to get a last season view of Lake George.
I'm sure you can't hear them on, but here they're fairly loud.
They were loud. You couldn't miss it. And what's even worse is did you used to immediately go to Maine in the old days? Yeah. So Seth that. Seth knew this was the end of his summer. Now he can't go to Maine. He just heard them. So the trainers make it. I'm 2-7-4 here. At the bottom line, just to have fun. If you see a plethora of $14 and $16 horses, I may have a shot, Seth. I need 5. No, I need like $60. I need like 5 $14 winners today. So this is my second 6-1 shot. I'm not getting past Military Road in the first, but Poseidon's missed for Carlos David, who was a very sharp, way under the radar trainer into New York. after two turf races that, to me, 40 years ago, Seth, sharp trainers would run on the turf to come back to the dirt. With 3 races ago, we ran well, so I'm taking Poseidon's Miss, and then Spiritual Lady first off the claim for Dave Donk, you mentioned, and Roman Goddess. And I was thinking with Spiritual Lady, and you look at the form, Dave's claimed has 5 claims in 5. I mean, it's not something he does.
Yeah.
274 for me.
All right, dark horse play of the day. Let's see if we can get one on the last day. I mean, it's going to wind up that 18-1 that just missed is going to cost us, I think. Yesterday, we got a huge price on the dark horse and just was way too far back early. Made a late run and was a good fourth. I want to say 24-1 or maybe higher. But it's just too far back early. So we'll see if we can make a little something happen. I'm going to do the dark horse play today and the hopeful today. Race number 10, incentive pay for Chad and Klarovich. Again, folks concentrate so much on the buyers. With the winning debut buyer, this horse will get overlooked. We're 8-1 on the morning line, and I think the buyer will lead into that. And you have Ferocious in here, who was so good in debut with a really solid buyer. Chancellor McPatrick, same scenario. Menti, similar idea. They'll all take action, and deservedly so. But I thought it was a pretty good-looking debut right here at Saratoga in July for incentive pay. It's Chad, it's Klarovich, and we don't know what the ceiling is for this horse. Won it pretty easily, so gets the 68. But what is in the future for this one? I could see incentive pay going forward and being very competitive in this bunch, particularly from these connections. And I think, again, given the focus on the buyers with bettors, we'll get a decent price. So our final dark horse play of the day today, race 10, the hopeful, will go with number 9, incentive pay, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga, both in downtown Saratoga, right on Broadway, a couple of blocks apart on Broadway on opposite sides of the street.
Right?
Yeah, and I will once again tout, stop in. You'll have fun. They're both great places to browse. You'll find something you like. If you're downtown later today, stop. But through the fall, stop as well. Say hello on behalf of us. We had Marianne and Maddie in earlier. They were having a good season. Hopefully that has continued throughout. They're both really, really fun places to swing by. So, again, thanks to the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga for their sponsorship once again this season of the Dark Horse Play of the Day.
Just so you know, I like a 15-1 shot in the hopeful. I think, and all I think that says is I think it's truly a wide open race. For fun, I think just before they go to post, we should announce the 2022 winner. We'll be right back.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse. Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Boo-hoo. Although everybody always says it's kind of melancholy. You can go either way. I mean, I have to admit I'm pooped.
Well, you didn't wear a tie today.
Yeah, it was the last day. I thought
really give caution to the wind.
I don't think I'd done summer casual yet this year. So, but then I had the striped shirt on, so I couldn't go with it. But I thought I could have gotten one more shot at the seersucker in today. I think it's Labor Day.
I wore white pants out last night, knowing it's at the end of it. But I've always said I am a time, manner, place guy. The alma mater played last night. Seth is a Syracuse guy. He loves their basketball, but you follow their football. As usually once you go to a place that works that way, it's autumn. The NFL is going to start in 72 hours, and they're King Kong. But I think this is a great day. I mean, it's supposed to end, and it ends on a great day. I can't ask for anything more.
Yeah. So again, a little melancholy and boo-hoo, but
I'm with
on the front side yesterday, it's kind of funny. I ran into Ron Gearkink. I said, "Hey, we'll see you in about a week and a half."
Yes, Jesus.
Ron was in for the day. I think he said he was visiting his brother, maybe in Philadelphia or something. So on the way, he stopped.
There's a chance I'm going to be in. There's a high chance I'm going to be in Toronto on the 9th because I have the Rams game in Detroit. Detroit's closer than I thought, so I think I'm going to make the drive out to the opener nighter. I want to meet Gene, and I've been trying to get to this Prince of Wales Stakes at Fort Erie for 5 years now. I think it's happening on Tuesday the 10th. So it leaves me the 9th. I'm not driving all the way home. So I'm either going to a baseball game in Pittsburgh, but I think the better chance is Toronto because if you don't like geography, Toronto to Fort Erie is much closer. Now,
have you ever been to Fort Erie?
I have not. That's part of the
fun.
That's part of the thing.
And you may get recognized. Go over to the Tiki Bar. I was the day I was there. I'm over by the Tiki Bar, and there's a whole group of people. Hey, Seth. Hey.
Just so you know, we might be done with this just before our boss comes on. Thank goodness he's in the last set. We might not get there.
Fourth race this afternoon. Conditional claimers
You wear a tie.
going 7.
862 Stormquest. First off the claim. I have to say that I don't care about the price, but I think this is a sneaky good pick. And then I saw David, who's the best, at 4-1. So the sneakiness angle is out. But I think there's also a small chance we might get 5 or 6. I mean, this is one of my favorite horses on the day. I think we're in very attractive position on the outside now. 25 down to 16 in a month. No one likes losing $9,000. No matter how much money you have, no one likes losing $9,000 in a month. But I like Manny's chances on the outside. Midnight Express, Rudy, who's run almost 100 horses at this meet, that heard on the street, who breaks from the rail. 862.
I went 6-2, the 1 entry, and 4. I have Rudy with Midnight Express. And again, slow start for Rudy. But heated up, and I think this one is a cozy fit with this bunch. Heard on the street, goes out off the claim for Linda Rice. And what we saw last time, back in June, however, but what we saw last time fits here. And the 1 entry, Bon Chance and Giants Fire, I think are both a little playable. I probably am a little more tilting towards Bon Chance, who comes off a nice stride against similar last time. 6-2, the 1 entry, and 4.
On to the 5th. We don't run I've talked before how we can run a mile 16th and mile 8th on both surfaces. We have that opportunity. We just don't run 9 furlongs on the inner very often. I don't have the exact count for this year. I could get it, but it's literally been fewer than a handful of numbers the last couple of years, and that's what we have here in the 5th.
I really debated. I wound up with 2, 3, 6, and 4. Off the layoff prerequisite, but you look and this
Doesn't
one was live in the second start of the career, now off a layoff, and it is Chad Brown, last seen in Stakes Company, but again, it was last year at this meet when last seen. So off the layoff, I'm concerned, but I think this horse, if comes back ready to roll, may have the edge here. Root Cause in the second spot. The other Chad Brown runner, Irod Ortiz, hops on board off a win to start the season right here last time. And Promiser America in the third spot for Horacio De Paz, another guy having a pretty good meet. Our neighbor, he's right back here. And third start of the season. First start of the season was pretty good, regressed a little bit, but also was in and off the turf for the last time. Gets back to the grass, third start back. This one could be interesting. At a morning line price of 8-1, 2, 3, 6, and 4.
Now, this is the type of race that I love. Now, remember, if you're watching the show, I'm the guy who threw Cigar out of the 1996 Classic Trifecta, which would have been the score of a lifetime. My thoughts as it works here is I do not have prerequisite in here. It's not because of the layoff. I don't care about that anymore. He's in brilliant hands. I expect her to run a big race here today. But from a gambling standpoint, I see so many opportunities. at best, what would you make prerequisite? Like a 40% chance of running well at 8.5. I don't think it's 50-50. If today is a warm-up race for prerequisite, that throws open the doors to a great betting race. Now, she might still affect the trifecta for me. I'm 136. The girl from Ireland, Grand Motion. I said I thought of the others, and I'm not the second morning line choice. I had the right horse. And that's why I want to be. As I said, if you see a bunch of $14 to $18 winners today, I could have a chance to get out of this. But I took Root Cause underneath. Second start of the year. For me, enough time after the comeback race on July 19th to run another good effort coming off a career best. And then the 6 for Horatio De Paz, as you mentioned. Loved the turf race, first start of the year. Would have been against on July 17th for the regression. Came off the turf. Now we're back on. This is if it is prerequisite at 6 to 5, it's a yawn for me. But boy, if prerequisite, runs okay here and it throws the race wide open, I think it's one of the most exciting races on the card this side of the hopeful.
6th race today, more state-bred 2-year-old maiden specials. They'll go 7 furlongs.
A bunch of firsters, the first 4 post positions, all firsters. And then I just took a flyer here, 2-1-9. I didn't have any thoughts on the race. The One Vision, who sets top pick, I think, off of the race, you're like, yeah, okay, well, that was August 16th. We'll see. It's not a big buyer. It's nowhere close to theoretically the number to win this race. So I'll take a firster in Ken McPeak's Motown. And Ken is not known for having his firsters ready, but we had a bullet. We've worked well from the gate. I'll go at 10-1. Hit the post. Must be for kickers. An offspring of Cantheros, who was a brilliant runner and has been a solid producer. And then One Vision for me, 2-1-9.
I don't know. Is hit the post really for kickers? I think if you're a kicker, that's the worst possible.
No, but I'm like, obviously you hit the post in also.
Although
you can
hit the post
and it can still ding in.
Yeah, it could go in. Yeah.
I couldn't think of any other
hit the post, but as you said, that's maybe more hockey.
Hockey where ding.
Yeah. 947.
It's bad in hockey too, by the way. It's almost always bad in hockey.
9-4-7-1. I did put One Vision on top. First of all, from the dam to race, so there wasn't much to find out there. But experience counts. Pretty good looking debut. I landed there. Mozambique in the 2nd spot. There's a sibling called Bank on Anna. 2nd in debut, then ran 5th. Then a couple of wins in the 3rd and another win. So first 6 starts, 3 wins. I thought Mozambique had a little win early. I like Golden Sense as a win early sire. And Spirit of Law going out for Jack Knowlton, our friends at Saratoga. Off a debut that I think it wasn't much. It was over a sloppy track, but there was a sibling who won in the 3rd start. I think this one may benefit from the debut effort and certainly offers some potential there. So for me in the 6th, 9-4-7-1.
Take a quick break. We'll be right back to kick off the mandatory pick 6 in race 7.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
It's a casual closing day. My director's out here looking for dandelions. What the heck? I'm telling you, folks, it's glorious up here. If you have, like I said, you don't have to stay for the whole card. As they showed us in the Jockey Club Gold Cup yesterday. just come on up, spend 2 or 3 hours. I think it's beautiful. State bred maiden special weights. These are 2-year-olds going 7.
8, 9, 5, and 6. 8 is Daytona Gold. Attracted a little bit of a price at Ocala March. Worked 9.4 before that sale. Sibling called Treasure King won the first 2 starts of the career. Another sibling, Glorious Wave, was a win early type. Ken McPeak doesn't normally have them ready. So, again, I'm a little bit questionable on this one on that factor. But I'll put Daytona Gold on top because nothing else jumped out at me necessarily. Oath of Omerta comes in with a nice bullet work and some other bullets underneath for Jenna Antonucci. 1,000 words on top. I thought this one could be a player at a price. Also a price, Dominican Pirate. Attracted over $200,000 at auction. Sibling Clear Conscience won in the second start. Another sibling, Topic Change or Changer, also won in the second start. However, both of those won on turf, so you have to note that. So that one's interesting. Miles and Miles, a little bit of breeding. I will note our friends at Eddie F's have Butter in here in the second start of the career. Sibling to Lobster and Chowder. They add butter to the mix. I didn't use that one, but I was rooting for Eddie F.
Add butter to the mix.
Yeah, with the little lobster and not necessarily the chowder, but in the 7th, 8, 9, 5, and 6.
There are 10 in the main body. The AE would scare me getting in. Seth and I have covered 7 of the 10 in the main body because I wrote it down. Seth's 4th pick is number 6, correct?
Yeah.
So we have 7 of the 10 covered. Carlos Martin, I had the win a couple days ago. Friend of the Devil, an offspring of Honest Mischief. We got an Honest Mischief home the other day that we're now having the Sons of Into Mischief. I told you my ideas about compartmentalize these slop races. There was some early speed there. I'll take the chance.
Early speed off trouble. I really looked at that horse. Early
Yes.
speed off some trouble, and that's always you rush up trying to get back into it, and then that.
And
that
if you
rarely
watch races
works
long
out.
enough, you know how the movie always ends.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much energy,
Yeah.
even in Hall of Fame horses. And I'm very sure I'm right about this. We'll get a different jockey, right? Javier's off for like
I think so.
2
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then I have a bomb in here. Number 2, Honest Mischief, another Honest Mischief. And then for 3rd, Solar Glare, the offspring of Upstart. So 3, 7, 1 for me.
In the 8th, we're looking at stakes action. The Harvey Pack, $150,000. They'll be going 5.5 on the grass. And for newer fans who are not familiar with the name Harvey Pack, I have to believe there was Harvey Pack on YouTube. Pull up some of the replay shows and whatnot. May the horse be with you as he flew through his program in the air. Harvey was great, certainly, and started the whole concept of morning handicapping. They used to do the seminar up here over at Ciro's early in the morning. So race 8.
I'll take you back farther than that. It's enclosed now, so it houses offices. But there used to be an open area on, I think they call it the paddock pavilion or something, next to the paddock, the building where you can bet. And there was 9 a.m. morning handicapper. Harvey was an integral part of the explosive growth of Saratoga about 1978 till today. But the whole 1976, 77 to 90, just that huge arc, his red sport coat coming out. There was a 9 o'clock group that were true passionate horse racing fans. And then the Saturdays used to be Andy Beyer. I'm going back to the 80s. Then Steve Chris took over for Andy. Matter of fact, Russ Harris might have been Saturday. I mean, there was it was called the Paddock Club. But there was one, as I said, at 9 a.m., rightfully a race named up here, his thoroughbred action show. And when they ran the last one, I think Jason blew it as a homage to Harvey through the program, added his inside racing with Johnny I. Just tremendous. And we, Steve Chris was part owner of the winner, right? Last year, the inaugural.
Oh, that's right. Phil Gleaves, right?
Phil Gleaves, yeah. 658 for me. Super Quest for Mark Cassie coming off of a brilliant performance. Arzak, Michael Trembetta's owner, making the 3rd start since April. And then Big Invasion, who I have given up on.
I went back with Big Invasion.
Yeah,
8, 5, 6, and 9. I think the Dean Reeves runner ran a close-up second in this race last year. Close-up second last time on July 4th downstate. I think is very interesting in here. Dylan Davis on board as he wraps up his very, very good 2024 meet. Arzak, morning line favorite, comes in off a good try down at Monmouth in a stake, ran second in the Jaipur just before the Belmont and Saratoga meet. And then Super Quest going out for Mark Cassie and Live Oak, hence the Super with an O in the title. Comes in off a nice win here earlier in the meet. Should be a player as well. 8, 5, 6, and 9.
To the ninth, Milo 16th on the inner.
6, 4, 7, and 3. I thought the 1 was also interesting at 10 to 1. I wouldn't argue anybody off diamond status, but I went Matrona, Chad Brown runner. Excuse me. Ran very well up here. Lightly raced 3-year-old and ran very well up here to just miss last time in what is arguably the best performance of the career. Now, you can look at the win in France and say that was very good. It was, but I'm looking at the U.S. runs and the numbers, and the number in the near miss last time just indicates this one may be primed here for a very good and winning effort. It's hot here in the second spot. Another Chad Brown runner going out for Michael Dubb and Company, third start of the season off an improved effort in start number 2. Also could be primed for a good try. And then next on stage, lots of early speed and in the hunt far more often than not. So this one has to, as I'm looking, has only missed a triple once in the career. So you have to, if you're using the verticals, you have to take an extra look at next on stage. 6, 4, 7, and 3.
5, 4, 9 for me. And these group of 6-to-1 shots. But to be fair, I'm kind of popular with 6-to-1 shots. It's not just a today thing, folks. But these first 8 or 9 races, I will be very focused, chasing $60. I don't have bombs in the last one, so I'll be out. I won't be able to gloat from this chair, but trust me, if some miracle I get $64 worth of winners, you can find me on Twitter, or I'll find you. 5, 4, 9, Silent Melody for me. Jorge Abreu's runner out, throwing out the last race. You go back 3 back. You got the 9 furlongs. A quality effort here. That was in the starter allowance. This is softer. It has starter allowance, but it's a softer group. I have It's Hot in here. Chad Brown runner for me is the horse to beat in the third start of the year. And then Tongue Twister, Ray Handel, from Flag Fall to that all. He was good on opening day, good throughout. 5, 4, 9 for me.
All right, we'll take one more break. When we come back, we'll complete our look at closing day Saratoga. Stay tuned.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this.
Our director doesn't know where he's been having breakfast for 39 days. Unbelievable.
The 10th race is the Grade 1 hopeful, $300,000 up for grabs. 2-year-olds going 7.
I want to see if we have 6 different horses before I start talking. I know we have 2 bombs. Oh, they're not going to. No, we don't. But we're similar, which is shocking in this race because I think it's wide open. The nature of the hopeful has changed so much in the last 25 years. I mean, it's before, horses would have like 5 races. You'd have a real feel for it. But now it's, I'm taking the veteran in the group, the co-veteran or the tri-veteran in here. I'm smoking wicked for Dallas Stewart, who I thought was sharp enough in the Saratoga Special. We have to move forward, but I think that's a price. We get Tyler Gaffleon back in the saddle. This could go a long way to $64, Seth. This is a reach. Ferocious for second is we were here before with Fiercest, is without doubt the horse to beat, a 91 on debut. I put double asterisk next to that. I can't tell you the list of horses who have run unbelievable numbers with moisture at the racetrack. Jade Flush comes to mind right away. You can look her up. And then incentive pay. Folks, I have to tell you, I'm not going to say anything about Mr. Mendelssohn, who's 50 to 1 in the morning. It's a debut runner. Heck, debut runner won the Schuylerville last year. Who knows? But everybody's in the pool, in my opinion. 529.
You mentioned that I looked up Aladar, 5 starts, 4 wins before the hopeful. And I'm sure Firm was right in the same boat.
Same boat, yes.
9, 2, 7, and 8 for me. Incentive pay. Mentioned this one earlier as my dark horse play of the day. The number is going to let this one get overlooked a little bit, but we don't know what the number could be moving forward. Horses tend to move forward. Notably,
I would bet it's
not
going to be a 92. It's going to be lower than that. I believe that.
I would say that is very likely, but I think it's going to be a live number, certainly, to mix it up with this bunch. Ferocious, big number in debut and becomes very dangerous here. And Menti, who impressed in the career debut down at Belmont at Aqueduct in June, now comes back and could be interesting. Chancellor McPatrick, fun race in here. Going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, but 9, 2, 7, and 8 for me.
Now I wonder what Uncle Mo got in his debut on Travers Day. The 11th race, Phillies 1X, mile and a 16th on the Mellon or the outer or the main turf course.
8, 11, 12, and 5. Venetia on top, lightly raced runner for Chad. Hasn't been seen since last June. That's the knock. But, the Chad horses tend to run very well off the layoff. I think this horse will be well met. Irod Ortiz hops on board. I'll use that one. Child of the Moon, another Chad Brown runner. Nice number in the United States debut off a long layoff. It was a near miss effort. If we move forward from that, becomes certainly dangerous. And then Beats in the 3rd spot. Bill Mott trainee, also lightly raced. I have to believe is better than the last. Had some trouble in that. The maiden breaker 2 back. Hopefully we get closer to that. And if so, as a player, 8, 11, 12, and 5.
And earlier with the other Chad Brown runner, Child of the Moon, who's parked outside the 11 that Seth has for second. And did I send the wrong numbers? I apologize, folks, if that was my bad job. I don't think I'm 4-9-11. And I apologize. I'm sure it's my bad in the middle of the night. I probably it doesn't matter who's. Well, I sent 4-9-11, so I feel better. I just glad it's not my bad. The rest, I don't care about blame. I just don't want to make more work for people on my stupidity. But I'm 4-9-11, and the Child of the Moon is parked outside, and I think the race blows up if it's not Child of the Moon. And I need the race to blow up. And Charlie Baker's horse, I thought, ran a nice sprint. I'm hoping it was a prep for this. And I got a good post position. And he could be half of the $64 I need. You can probably figure there's a theme to this. 4-9-11 for me. But I did double check it. Race 11 was.
We will wrap it up, not
There
just
it
for the
is.
day, but for the 2024 meet, which included the bonus Saratoga with the Belmont up here this year. It's been a fun summer, and we'll wrap it up at about 10 of 7 this evening with race number 12, State-Bred Maiden Claimers going a mile and a 16th on the grass.
Boy, and if I'm close, I couldn't be in better hands for the last race. 6-7-2. Seth doesn't even have my 6 in his mix. Good Magic, who, doing some research, I see why Good Magic is 125. He's been in fuego of late, but the turf race was in the middle. It was not. It was July 5th down at Aqueduct, and it was not that much to hold on to. But we're in for a tag today on the turf. We stayed in the off the turf, ran second. Dance on Air, locally owned. I'll take a shot. The 7 for Roy Lammert, a name that 40 years ago was lighting up the boards in the old meet. And then Horatio de Paz running for a tag again, third start of the year with Tour Jete, 6-7-2 as I chase that ghost in the wind.
2, 3, 8, and 5. Tour Jete on top. Ran for a tag, 2 starts back and ran okay. All the races have been on the dirt so far, the last couple off the turfers. So, again, they get to the grass. The last time in for the tag was a good effort. I'll put that one on top. Also, we're getting a post position. I like it, the mile and a 16 on the inner. Lucky and Gorgeous in the second spot for Melanie Giddings. Sean Bridgman on board. They have teamed up nicely at the meet, certainly. And Bomb Squad in the third spot. The Clement runner, I think, is better than the last effort. That was an off the turfer, so getting back to the grass. We'll mention, always like to toss out our friends at various partnerships and whatnot. Pamplona Red going out for West Point. Tom Morley going to be rooting for that one. Didn't put it in the mix, but in this race, the 2 turf races were actually okay. I took an extra look at that one. I may regret not putting Pamplona Red in the mix, but for me, 2, 3, 8, and 5.
That wraps it up.
That does
120 straight shows, my friend. That's a lot. Will not be in this chair next Saturday. Don't know if 4 decades. It's pretty good. The 2.0 though, it's been pretty good. I never thought as a public handicapper, the way I pick horses, I could chase that. What they used to say in the right stuff, that demon in the sky, which was the speed of sound. The demon in the sky for public handicappers is, 2.0 is like the Mount Everest. Beating the take is an accomplishment that shouldn't be overlooked, but I need about $64 of winners today to get the rounding factor up. And I have taken my shots, but I have taken my shots for 27 months.
Good luck.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You got a nice wrap-up show coming up.
Yeah, top of the hour. Well, something coming up next.
We got closer than I thought.
Coming up next. We'll do a little recap action of the meet, and John Signor, president of Capital OTB, will join us a little bit later on to recap things on the Capital OTB side of things. So again, that's all coming up, racing across America, and we'll be in the studio next weekend. But it looks like this Saturday, Handicappers Report will be on hiatus for a while. So we'll see you down the road.
4 decades. I mean,
it's been fun. Certainly this summer. Hopefully everybody's gotten some good advice here. And I know on the
I had 2 bad weeks. I don't know what your overall feel was. I think the first week you said you kind of felt like you were.
I thought
I had 2 bad weeks.
2 weeks ago, which was bad. 2 weeks ago, I thought I'm going to have trouble breaking 100 with the number of winners, and that's not good.
Well, you're probably going to win the box in the wins.
I think I went.
You had to make the 100.
Chase, and I think I went up 2 or 3 yesterday.
Okay.
And they had me a little lighter, but I still think I'll get to 100. But they're legitimately later because you put in the different scenarios with the off the.
Yeah.
I say I don't look at it every day,
I know.
But they're different than the one sheet.
But maybe
and
we
what
should.
I do on Equidaily, because I'm definitely ahead there and over 100. But it's been fun and a fun meet. And the last couple of weeks, I felt like I got more into my normal groove. And so
me too. This week has been actually.
Yeah.
But I just.
And if you look overall, like Gene is doing great, and he's got the numbers and the ROI as well. But
is he still on top? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to text
him. I don't know either.
I want him to get through. I've been there, and I want him to get through it.
But overall, I thought the public handicappers were all kind of right in my ballpark, really.
Okay.
So it was kind of chasing a little bit at this meet. I think it's a reflection of the meet, which, again, touts a guy like Gene, who when I had him in last week was sitting on top or near with the number of winners, but also the positive ROI. So I hope he's kept it rolling.
Incomprehensible to have both.
Yeah.
I mean, the newbie out there might think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They kind of don't.
Yeah.
They kind of go opposite. Yeah. They're inverse almost. And it usually takes around 125 to win, maybe higher. I don't know. Probably depends on how many favorites win.
Yeah.
To win it, but it's a great day. It's as good as horse racing gets today. You have plenty of elbow room.
It just dawned on me. Horse-wise, though, it has been really slow this morning.
Yes.
I guess that's a reflection of. I think if you're not entered over the last couple of days, you're probably packing up and.
Yeah. I think a couple gentlemen and
because I don't even think there was much behind us today, but over here, normally there's a lot of.
And to be frank, when it was a 4-day meet, folks, it was the same way. But remember, they ran 2 days later.
Yeah.
So it was completed. Want to thank Anthony and Dino, who trekked up here. They are here before us. They are here after us. They make sure everything works. All I do is sit down and talk. So that's on the low skill set level. But they're here before us. Danny back in the studio, who has to triangulate to get all this stuff to you people on your monitors at home every day. So their work is probably a factor of 3 times harder, minimum, maybe 8 times harder than what we do. They're here before on the calendar, etc. They'll be here tomorrow, I guess, taking it down. But I want to thank Naira, who lets us camp out here. It's their grounds. We're Capital Off Track Betting. They've always been terrific. I know you get some of their people on Racing Across America.
Yeah, we had
so
Pat yesterday.
It's a very good relationship, obviously, which we're grateful for. And I think that our audience is, as having a television network for the people. But, in my lifetime, Seth, we've gone from my betting lifetime, delayed audio calls in parlors.
In the parlor.
Then we had delayed video calls on the network, except for the last race. And now we have live racing. And kids out there going, what's the big deal? I got a phone.
You're right. Going to the live call, that wasn't that long ago.
No, it was not.
Here on the network to be able to show it live. Well, downstate we could do it, but once you got up here, there was the delay. Yeah, that's right.
And we had, we usually go to, we had the last race we were allowed to go live, but the others were, and you said, if I had to make a guess, fewer than 10 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
The live races for the card, I'm like, maybe 5. But
speaking of watching the race live, and we were
crossing off the videos.
We were now you got plenty of time.
Okay.
We talked about Harvey Pack, but there's another memory, and I would tell people it'd be fun to go look. I wonder if on YouTube they'll Frank Wright, Charles C. Canny, because when they were up here at Saratoga, they would show the last race live.
I'm going to say something as a guy.
WOR.
When I'm doing a lot of my spreadsheet work, folks, I have another apparatus, and I have YouTube on it. And a lot of times it's other stuff, but then I'll just get horse races. I've never come across the old Channel 9 WOR races, the productions, which shocks me because I'll tell you what, they put up the other day, first time I've ever seen it, they showed the entire spinaway of Ruffian.
I saw that.
We used to have the Ruffian one on an intro, and it's actually, it's tough to call it out, but it's a bad job by them back then because they got off Ruffian. She's winning by 12. They bag her and they go to the runner-up, which historically turned out to be a bad job. You're like, you want to see the, probably the greatest filly ever run every step. But I'm going to look it up today. I think it's a quiet day at the house. I think the
folks don't remember it. When cable TV first came up to this area, there was WPIX and WOR, and WOR on Saturdays had the last couple of races,
and the triple,
2 or last 3 races.
They had the feature because it was a 30-minute show, and I didn't care that it was taped. We didn't know, so they had gigantic stakes races, the Philly Triple Crown, and then people don't. Another thing, people don't.
Charles C. Canny, Dave Johnson.
Yep. Frank Wright, the trainer, who I thought was great voice on television.
Yeah.
Great voice, quality trainer, and that was it.
Yeah. No, fun. And then, as I say, when they came up here to Saratoga, you got the last race live because of the timing.
And another thing, young people you don't know how big the last race trifecta was.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a thing. That was like a feature in and of itself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've had some winners. Hope you've had a great meet. Weather, I thought, was appreciably better than last year. And these last 8-10 days have been, and I know we had obviously the sprinkle the other day, the spin away, but it's been great. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great Labor Day, a safe one. Enjoy your closing day.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com. the premier online wagering site in New York State, capitalotbbet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.